I built her a house with my bare hands. Every brick, every nail. Then one morning I came home early and heard her laughing. He still thinks I love him. Bless his dumb heart. She was in our bed with my brother. I didn't yell. I just left. But a month later, at the family gathering, she found out what I'd done to that house. I'm 38. Live outside Knoxville, Tennessee. I work construction, houses, sheds, barns, you name it. My dad was a builder too. Never hired help, did everything with his own hands. That's what he taught me. If you build it yourself, it means something. It lasts. That's what I believed when I met Heather. She was 30, worked part-time at a daycare, and volunteered at the church. We met at a Habitat for Humanity weekend. I was hammering drywall. She was helping make sandwiches. She smiled, passed me lemonade, and said I looked like I needed it. I fell right then. She wasn't flashy. Wore her hair in a bun, drove a beat-up Corolla, and had the kind of laugh that made you want to hear it again. I took her to Applebee's our first date. We talked for hours. She liked simple things, gardening, dogs, old country music. It felt right. Like home. We dated for about a year. Nothing dramatic. No big fights. We just fit. She said I made her feel safe. I said she made me feel seen. I wasn't rich, but I had money saved. I wanted to do something real for us. So I bought a 2-acre patch from a retired farmer I used to do fence work for. Dirt cheap. No house, just land. I told her I was gonna build our home. With my own hands. She cried when I said it. That year, I worked every damn day. On the job site from 7 to 4. Then at the land till dark. Framing, wiring, plumbing. She'd bring me sweet tea, rub my shoulders, kiss me on the porch beams. Said I was her Superman. I believed it. I built that house down to every nail. Picked the oak floors because she said she liked how they looked in those catalogs. Built the kitchen island to her height. Picked the tiles she wanted. We even painted the bedroom this pale green color she said calmed her down. I carved our initials into the doorframe. R+H. Like we were kids. I didn't care how cheesy it looked. It felt real. We moved in 6 months before the wedding. Everything felt right. Until it didn't. 3 months ago, I got called to do a roofing job in Lexington. Usually, I'm gone all week and come back Friday nights. But that week, storms rolled in. We had to stop work midweek. I didn't tell Heather. Thought I'd surprise her. I got home Thursday morning around 8. It was still cloudy. I walked in the front door real quiet. Thought maybe she'd still be asleep. But then I heard her laugh. Not just a laugh, a giggle. Playful. Like how she used to sound when we first dated. Then I heard a man's voice. And that voice, I knew it. My brother Caleb. I froze in the hallway. The bedroom door was cracked open. He still thinks I love him, she said between laughs. Bless his dumb heart. Then Caleb laughed. He probably still thinks you're baking pies and waiting by the window. She laughed again. It was sharp. Mean. I just stood there. Something in my chest broke. Not loud. Not fast. Just quiet. Cold. I backed up. Walked out the front door. Got in my truck. Drove back to Lexington without a word. Didn't call. Didn't scream. Didn't cry. The next few days I didn't answer her texts. Just kept working. I thought about every screw I drilled into that house. Every splinter I pulled from my fingers. Every drop of sweat. And then it hit me. The house wasn't hers. Not legally. Not financially. Not on any paper. I never added her to the deed. It was all under my name. She hadn't paid for a single thing, not even the fridge. She was living in my house. So I called in some favors. My friend Kenny, a city inspector, owed me big. I told him I needed a full inspection done on my property. He didn't ask why. He found one small code issue. A minor one. When I poured the back right section of the foundation, I cut a corner. It wasn't unsafe. Just not up to city code. I was planning to fix it later. But I didn't. That was enough. I filed an anonymous complaint to the city about a non-code compliant structure on my property. Gave the address. 2 days later they flagged it. Heather freaked. I ignored her. She begged me to come fix it. Said she didn't know what to do. I told her I was busy. That I'd look into it when I had time. She didn't understand permits. She didn't even know how to file for one. She couldn't sell the house. Couldn't refinance. Couldn't even get homeowners insurance anymore. Then came the real move. I called the developer. Told them I had land available. They were interested. But they said the house would have to go. Needed a clean site. They offered cash. I signed. Then I hired a demo crew. Legally, I didn't need to tell her anything. She had no rights. No lease. No title. No marriage certificate. Just a toothbrush and a drawer full of clothes. She got served with a notice on a Friday. Said the house was set for demolition by Monday. She called me 47 times. I didn't answer. By the time she got back to the house, half the porch was already ripped out. The swing I built her? Gone. The garden bed she planted? Flattened. I was in my truck across the street, just watching. She was sobbing, trying to talk to the crew chief. But he had orders. Nothing she said mattered. That night, she camped in the driveway. Sat there in her car, waiting for me. Caleb was there too. I watched them argue. He looked nervous. She looked destroyed. I didn't go near them. The next day, I got a call from my mom. She sounded worried. "Riley," she said. "Heather's been calling everybody. Said you're destroying her home?" "Caleb says you lost your mind." I almost laughed. "Her home? You sure this is the right way?" she asked. I didn't answer. Just told her I was handling it. Later that afternoon, Caleb showed up at my job site. Just walked up, bold as hell. Wearing one of my old work jackets, like he was trying to remind me we used to be close. "You're being insane," he said, arms crossed. She had nowhere to go. "You just left. You slept with my fiancée in a house I built." I said. "That's not a mistake. That's a decision." He looked like he wanted to say more. I could see it in his jaw, twitching. But I stepped forward. "You're dead to me. Stay away from me. Stay away from my crew. Next time you show up, I won't talk, I'll swing." He backed off. Drove off fast. A few guys on my crew saw. They didn't ask questions, just nodded. By Monday morning, the house was half gone. Heather called my boss. Told him I was harassing her, said I was having some kind of breakdown. My boss pulled me aside. "She's trying to mess up your work," he said. "But you're one of my best. You tell me if I need to shut this down." I appreciated that. But I told him no. I needed this job. I needed the normalcy. And I needed to stay quiet and focused until the final hit. That night, Heather's dad called me. I hadn't spoken to the man in a year. "I raised my daughter better than this," he said. "This ain't how you treat a woman." "No," I said. "You raised her to lie and cheat and hide in my bed with my own brother." He paused. Then hung up. She tried to play victim. Posted on Facebook that she'd lost everything and didn't understand why the man she loved turned so cold. She made herself the center of a little pity party. Got a bunch of sympathy comments. Friends sending her prayers and hearts. I didn't comment. Instead, I took screenshots. All of them. Every post. Every lie. I saved them in a folder I called Heather the Holy. 2 weeks later was my cousin's birthday. Big backyard barbecue like always. My mom begged me to come. I didn't want to, but part of me needed to see it through. So I went. Sure enough, Heather was there. So was Caleb. They stayed on the opposite side of the yard, whispering. Avoiding me. Then someone asked, real casual. So how's that house coming along, Riley? You and Heather all moved in by now? I didn't look at her. I just said, oh, it's gone. Bulldozed it last month. The whole group froze. You tore it down? My aunt asked. I nodded. Sold the land? Developers putting up $1 General, I think. Heather's mouth dropped open. Caleb actually looked like he was about to throw up. What about all your stuff? Someone asked. I shrugged. Didn't need it. Nobody said anything. You could feel the shift in the air. People started to realize something had gone very wrong. Heather walked over. Red-faced. Eyes glassy. Like she was about to cry or scream. Maybe both. You ruined my life, she hissed. I looked her dead in the eyes. You ruined your own. Then I walked away. But that wasn't the twist. See, what she didn't know, what nobody knew, was that before I filed that permit complaint, I took pictures of everything in that house. Furniture, appliances, clothes. All her stuff. And I sold it. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, even a few pawn shops. She couldn't report it stolen. She had no proof she owned it. And technically it was all left behind in my house, on my land. That's called abandonment. She had nothing left. No house. No stuff. No job. She quit the daycare months ago when she thought she was going to be a stay-at-home wife. She tried moving in with Caleb. But he still lived in a rental with 2 roommates who didn't want her there. Last I heard, they were fighting every day. So I thought that would be it. I thought wrecking the house, selling her stuff, and cutting them both off would be the end of it. But people like Heather, they don't go down easy. Not without dragging somebody else through the dirt. About a week after the barbecue, I got a letter in the mail. Certified. From a lawyer. Heather was filing a civil suit against me. Claimed I owed her equitable interest in the home since she contributed emotionally and physically during the construction. Said I destroyed joint property. And now she wanted compensation for emotional damages and her share of the value. I read it 3 times. She was suing me for the house I built. The house she used to cheat on me. It took everything in me not to drive to wherever she was staying and let her have it right there. But instead, I took the letter straight to my attorney, Paul. I'd worked jobs with his firm before, trustworthy guy, sharp as hell. He read the letter, didn't even blink. Just said, she's grasping. Let's handle this slow. We filed a response with proof. Title and deed in my name only. All utility bills, receipts, tax records, mine. No lease agreement. No shared bank account. No marriage. She never paid a dime toward the house. Not one. But the real kicker? Paul dug a little deeper. He asked if I had access to Heather's phone records. I didn't, but I had a backup. See, about 6 months before all this, I helped Heather set up a new phone. I synced it to my cloud account. Totally forgot about it. Guess what? Her texts and pictures, they were still backing up. I gave Paul everything. He found messages. Hundreds. Between her and Caleb. Planning. Laughing. Even talking about how she was gonna marry him anyway. After this dumb house is done. She knew. From the start. She played me the whole time. It wasn't just cheating. It was a long con. Paul printed it all, cataloged it, and filed it with the court as part of our response. Heather's lawyer dropped her the next day. No call. No warning. Just a letter saying they could no longer represent her, due to conflicts of interest and discovery of false information. That same night, Heather showed up at my apartment. I hadn't seen her face to face since the house got torn down. She looked rough. Pale. Hair messy. No makeup. like she hadn't slept in days. She knocked like the cops. I opened the door, didn't say a word. "I just wanted to talk," she said. I didn't move. "I lost everything," she whispered. "I have nowhere to go." I looked her dead in the eye. "You had everything. You buried it in my bed with my brother." She tried to cry. Tried to reach for my hand. I stepped back. "I need you to leave." "I'm sorry," she said, voice shaking. "Please. I'm sorry." I just closed the door. She stood out there for a while. Then I heard her heels clicking away down the steps. But Caleb? He didn't get away clean either. Turns out he had a girlfriend. One he'd been with for 2 years. A quiet girl named Monica. She was going to nursing school, helped pay half his rent. She found out through Facebook. Saw Heather's post about losing the love of her life, and recognized the background of one of the pictures. She messaged me. We met at a coffee shop. She showed me screenshots of Caleb telling her he was working late while he was actually sleeping at my house. Told her he was helping me with projects. She looked crushed. Not angry, just tired. Like she'd known deep down and just didn't want to believe it. I gave her everything I had. All the texts. All the proof. Every screenshot. She packed up and left Caleb 2 days later. Took the TV, the couch, and even his damn coffee maker. Told the landlord he'd been hiding someone in the apartment, breaking the lease. Got him evicted. Last I heard, Caleb was sleeping on some guy's couch, trying to pick up shifts at a landscaping company. Heather tried moving in with him again. They lasted maybe 3 weeks. Now they're both couch hopping. Broke. Unemployed. Everyone in the family knows. Nobody's siding with them. Not even Heather's mom. But I wasn't done yet. Because there was still one final twist I was saving. So here's where the final twist lands. About a month after Heather tried suing me, I was cleaning out my garage, and I found a shoebox I hadn't touched in over a year. Inside was an old flash drive. I didn't even remember what was on it until I plugged it in. Turns out, it had video clips I took while building the house. I'd been recording parts of the process to make a time-lapse video for our wedding reception. Stuff like laying the first brick, painting the nursery, building the porch swing. Just short clips on my phone that I transferred over. But there was one file I forgot I had. It was a video Heather took, where she's walking through the empty house with her phone, showing it off to someone. She's in the bedroom, spinning around, and says, "This is where I'm gonna spend every night for the rest of my life. Well, unless Riley screws it up." Then she laughs. It wasn't a big smoking gun. But something about it made my stomach turn. She never believed it was real. She didn't see it as home. She saw it as a phase. A stop on the way to something better. The fact that she lost it all, that was justice. But I wanted something deeper. Something she'd carry longer than just being broke and embarrassed. So I did one last thing. I uploaded every screenshot, every text, every photo of Caleb and Heather cheating, plus the video of her laughing in the bedroom, and made a Dropbox link. No captions. No explanations. Just the truth. Then I created an anonymous email account and sent it to every family member on both sides. Her parents. My parents. Cousins. Aunts. Church friends. Even the pastor who was going to marry us. Subject line: "This is what I walked away from." I didn't say a word. Just watched the fireworks. Heather's family exploded. Her mom made a Facebook post disowning her. Said she was ashamed and heartbroken by the lies. Her church group removed her from every event. She was erased. Socially, emotionally, completely. Nobody wanted to be tied to her drama anymore. As for Caleb, well, he was already at rock bottom. But now everyone knew he was a backstabbing snake. Friends cut him off. A few old buddies from high school who used to work with me told him to never show up on any job site they were on again. He became a pariah overnight. But here's the part where I eat some of my own karma. About 2 weeks later, I was out having a beer with Paul, my lawyer. We were talking about everything, laughing a little at how crazy it all got. That's when he got quiet and said, "You ever think about what this did to you?" I shrugged. "I'm fine." But I wasn't. I hadn't dated since. Hadn't trusted anyone. I spent months sleeping on the floor of my apartment because a bed felt too vulnerable. I was angry all the time. Short with people. Distrustful. Cold. "I think you won," Paul said. "But you're still living like you lost." He was right. I'd built my revenge brick by brick. Just like the house. Every move calculated. Every shot fair. But somewhere along the way, I stopped building a life and started building a wall. That night, I drove back to the old lot. The house was long gone. Just dirt now, and a few weeds growing up where the porch used to be. I sat in my truck and thought about every nail, every callus, every dream I buried under that roof. I cried for the first time since I caught them. But I didn't cry for her. I cried for the man I used to be. The man who thought love meant building something and giving it away. The man who thought loyalty was enough. The next day, I started therapy. Signed up for a volunteer crew again. Not for Heather. For myself. And that shoebox with the flash drive? I buried it. Right in the middle of that lot. Let the past rot with it. I haven't heard from Heather or Caleb in over 6 months. Last I heard, he was working part-time cleaning rental cabins. She was staying with a third cousin and trying to get a job at a diner off I-40. Me? I bought a new place. Smaller. 1 story. Simple. I'm taking my time furnishing it. Not building it for anyone else. Just me. So yeah. This is what happens when you betray the wrong man. I don't scream. I don't hit. I don't beg. I rebuild. And I make damn sure you never forget what you lost.